Good evening to all the viewers joining us at this evening broadcast. To begin with the United States. United States President Donald Trump said on Sunday that he and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky were getting a lot closer to an agreement to end the conflict in Ukraine, though both the leaders acknowledged that some of the thorniest details remain unresolved.
The much-anticipated talks to end the Russia-Ukraine conflict took place in Florida on Sunday, where US President Donald Trump claimed that negotiators are getting closer to Ukraine peace deal, though he acknowledged that thorny issues remain and declined to provide a concrete timeline for when they might be resolved. The two leaders spoke at a joint press conference after meeting at Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Florida. Trump said it will be clear in a few weeks whether negotiations to end the conflict will succeed. Both men have said that both countries are broadly in agreement about most of the points in the negotiation. Notably, however, both Trump and Zelensky did not offer any timelines, instead vowing to have their teams meet again in the coming weeks. Trump called it a terrific meeting and described Donbass, the eastern Ukrainian territory on the front line of fighting, as an unresolved issue, but said that they were getting a lot closer to an agreement. Trump said that Russia are going to be helping with the reconstruction of Ukraine. He added that he was open to visiting Ukraine, ideally after a deal was agreed.
We had a terrific meeting. We discussed a lot of things. As you know, I had an excellent phone call with President Putin that lasted for over 2 hours. We discussed a lot of points, and I do think we're getting a lot closer, maybe very close. We spoke to all of those great leaders. They're all great leaders, and we had a great talk with them. After we were completed, we thought it was appropriate to speak with them, and our meeting was excellent. We covered, somebody would say 95%, I don't know what percent, but we have made a lot of progress on ending that war, which is really certainly the most deadly war since World War II, probably the biggest war since World War II.
Meanwhile, Zelensky thanked Trump for a great meeting, adding that a 20-point peace plan was 90% agreed, calling them the key milestone in achieving lasting peace.
First of all, I would like to thank President Trump for a great meeting at this amazing place in his home in Mar-a-Lago. And we had a really great discussions on all the topics, and we appreciate the progress that was made by American and Ukrainian teams in these recent weeks. And we discussed all the aspects of the peace framework, which includes, and we have great achievements, 20-point peace plan, 90% agreed, and US-Ukraine security guarantees 100% agreed. US, Europe, Ukraine security guarantees almost agreed. Military dimension 100% agreed. Prosperity plan being finalized, and we also discussed the sequencing of the following actions. And we agree that security guarantees is the key milestone in achieving lasting peace, and our teams will continue working on all aspects.
Just before Zelensky and Trump meet, Russian President Vladimir Putin and Trump spoke in a call described as productive by the US President and friendly by Kremlin. Following the meeting, Ukrainian President and other European leaders took to social media to thank US President Donald Trump and welcome progress made on peace negotiations aimed at ending Russia's conflict in Ukraine. Bureau Report, DD India.
US President Donald Trump spoke over a telephonic conversation with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Sunday for over an hour, describing the conversation as good and very productive. The call, initiated by the US, focused on Ukraine conflict resolution prospects ahead of Trump's meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Kremlin aide Yuri Ushakov said both the leaders agreed a temporary ceasefire would prolong the war, urging Ukraine to make responsible decisions. The Russian president accepted Trump's proposal for working groups on mediation. They plan another call post the meeting. Putin noted Russian advances and no interest in waiting for withdrawals. Meanwhile, reacting to US President Donald Trump's Ukraine peace deal statement, the Kremlin agreed with comments that deal is very close. Spokesman Dmitry Peskov said another call was planned very soon. Russia currently controls a fifth of Ukraine, including Crimea, which it annexed in 2014, about 90% of Donbass, 75% of Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, and slivers of Kharkiv, Sumy, Mykolaiv and Dnipro Petrovsk regions, according to Russian estimates. The Kremlin also added that a call between Russia President Putin and Donald Trump would take place very soon. Now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said on Monday that a draft peace framework to end Russia's war envisages US security guarantees for Ukraine for 15 years. Speaking to reporters in a WhatsApp chat, Zelensky added that he had asked US President Donald Trump to provide guarantees of up to 50 years.
I already told him that we are already at war, and it has been for almost 15 years, and that is why I really wanted the guarantees to be longer. And I told him that we would really like to consider the possibility of 30, 40, 50 years, and then this will be a historic decision by President Trump. The president said that he would think about it.
US President Donald Trump is expected to push for progress in the stalled ceasefire in Gaza when he meets with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday for talks that will include Israel's concerns over Hezbollah in Lebanon and Iran. Netanyahu said this month that Trump had invited him for talks as Washington pushes to establish transitional governance and an international security force for the Palestinian enclave. Trump has said he could meet with the Israeli leader soon, but the White House has not confirmed the details. Netanyahu said on the 22nd of December that discussions were expected to cover the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire, as well as Iran and Lebanon. Washington brokered ceasefires on all three fronts, but Israel is wary of its foes rebuilding their forces after they were considerably weakened in the conflict. Now, Thailand's army on Monday accused Cambodia of violating a newly signed ceasefire agreement reached after weeks of deadly border clashes by flying more than 250 drones over its territory. Thailand and Cambodia agreed to immediate ceasefire on Saturday, pledging to end renewed border clashes that killed dozens of people and displaced more than 1 million this month. The Thai army said on Monday more than 250 unmanned aerial vehicles were detected flying from the Cambodian side, intruding into Thailand's sovereign territory on Sunday night, according to a statement. Now, under the truce pact signed on Saturday, the Southeast Asian neighbors agreed to a ceasefire, freeze troop movements and cooperate on demining efforts and combating cybercrime. Cambodian Foreign Minister Prak Sokhonn described the drone incident as a small issue related to flying drones seen by both the sides along the borderline, adding that the two sides had discussed it and agreed to investigate and resolve it immediately. Now, in Bangladesh, traders staging an anti-extortion human chain in Dhaka's Karwan Bazaar area came under attack on Monday, triggering tension and disrupting the demonstration. Witnesses said around 150 to 200 traders under the banner of Islamia Shanti Samiti formed the human chain in front of the Karwa Bazaar kitchen market in morning as part of a pre-announced program protesting alleged extortion. A group armed with sticks allegedly attacked the protesters, leading to a chase and counter-chase in the area. It was alleged that Abdur Rahman, an expelled member secretary of the Tejgaon unit of Chubodal, has been demanding extortion from local traders since 5th of August last year. Police rushed to the spot and brought the situation under control. Meanwhile, on the political front, BNP acting chairman Tariq Rahman submitted his nomination papers on Monday for Dhaka 17 constituency. The final day for filing nominations for the 13th National Parliamentary election is today. On to Nepal. Ahead of Nepal's March elections, political realignments are taking shape in Kathmandu. Rapper turned Kathmandu Mayor Balendra Shah, popularly known as Balen, has joined the Rashtriya Swatantra Party. The move follows a 7-point agreement with RSP chief Rabi, offering Balen a strategic leadership role. The alliance is expected to energize youth voters and appeal strongly to Gen Z. The agreement further underscores commitments to anti-corruption measures and governance reforms. Balen's inclusion aims to position RSP as a strong alternative to Nepal's traditional parties. On to business updates now. Europe has seen some rough times this year, with the European Union economy finding itself in danger of being wound up between superpowers US and China. And most recently, the US even said that it views Europe as weak and not a reliable ally. But there are some dissenting voices as well. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and joins me from Berlin. Good evening, Lars. Tell us the parameters that the experts are looking forward at this point with this regard, and also tell us where do they find good news, Lars?
Well, they're starting with wealth and growth, and particularly looking at growth. They argue that often official data doesn't adjust for inflation, for currency exchange effects, and for population growth. And taking in these factors, they're finding that, yes, economic growth is slower in Europe than it is in the United States, but that the difference stood at 30% in 2002 and only grew to 34% last year. So that's a rather moderate development, not a seismic shift. And yes, the US is more dynamic and more innovative, but not to the extent that we often hear. Also, looking at wealth, the experts here look at the median income, not the average, which is often distorted by extremely wealthy people. The median gives a better look at what most people experience. And for the US, median wealth clocked in at $124,000 per capita. And that is far behind France, and it's about on par with Italy and Spain. For Germany, we don't have exact comparables because data is taken differently, but we do see the year-over-year change, and it shows that for Germany, wealth is rising too, albeit slowly.
Also, Lars, tell us, are there any non-economic factors in the report as well?
Yes, there are. Of course, mostly these economists do look at the economic data. That's what most people worry about, and that's what has been dominating the news as well. But they're also looking at life expectancy, a data point of great interest to every single person, I'm sure. And looking at that, we see the US at 79.6 years, on par with Europe, but we see Germany far ahead with 81.7 years. So there are some factors certain countries still excel at, and for Germany it happens to be life expectancy. Tied to that is partially the stability and quality of the healthcare system.
Time to take a quick and short break, but still to come on the other side. President Draupadi Murmu addresses 15th convocation ceremony of National Institute of Technology in Jharkhand's Jamshedpur. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hails Koneru Hampi and Arjuna Regaisi for clinching bronze at 2025 FIDE Rapid Chess Championship in Doha.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Johar.
Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout हो गया.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back after that short break. You're watching DD India Live. Well, President Draupadi Murmu addressed the 15th convocation ceremony of National Institute of Technology in Jharkhand's Jamshedpur on Monday. Addressing the gathering, the President spoke about the unprecedented transformations happening in the field of technology and the opportunities along with the challenges that come with it.
जितनी तेज गति से तकनीकी बदलाव हो रही है, उस गति से शायद ही पहले की किसी कालखंड में हुई थी। इन बदलावों से जहां एक और नए नए अवसर उपलब्ध हो रहा है, वहीं दूसरी ओर नई चुनौतियां भी उत्पन्न हो रही है। तकनीकी विकास से शिक्षा, कृषि, स्वास्थ्य सेवा, संचार और ऊर्जा उत्पादन के क्षेत्र में अभूतपूर्व परिवर्तन हो रहे हैं।
The President also spoke about the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047 of research, innovation and startup culture to achieve this goal.
2047 तक हमने भारत को एक विकसित राष्ट्र बनाने का लक्ष्य रखा है। इस लक्ष्य की प्राप्ति में रिसर्च, इनोवेशन और स्टार्टअप कल्चर को बढ़ावा देना तथा युवाओं को स्किल्ड वर्कफोर्स के रूप में विकसित करना अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण है। भारत सरकार रिसर्च, इनोवेशन, स्टार्टअप्स को बढ़ावा देने के लिए अनेक योजनाएं चला रहे हैं।
Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan is on a 2-day maiden visit to Puducherry after assuming the office and was accorded a warm welcome with a guard of honor. During a civic reception, the Vice President recalled Puducherry's rich civilizational, cultural and spiritual heritage, and he also paid tribute to great thinkers of the state. The Vice President further inaugurated a housing project under Smart Cities mission and handed over the keys to 216 beneficiaries. Appreciating Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of housing for all and Puducherry government's effective implementation. He also unveiled the statue of Mahakavi Subramanya Bharatiyar at the Bharatiyar Memorial, honouring the poet's enduring contribution to Tamil literature and national awakening. He inaugurated the senior secondary block of Petit Seminar CBSE school, emphasizing holistic, value-based education and urging the students to contribute to the vision of developed India by the year 2047. Moving on, the Defence Acquisition Council, chaired by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh, accorded acceptance of necessity for various proposals of the 3 services, amounting to a total of about 79,000 crore rupees. During the meeting held on the 29th of December, the AON was approved for the procurement of loiter munition system for artillery regiments, low-level lightweight radars, long-range guided rocket ammunition for Pinnack multiple launch rocket systems, and also integrated drone detection and interdiction system Mark II for the Indian Army. For the Indian Navy, AON was accorded for procurement of bollard pull tugs, high-frequency software-defined radios, manpack, and for leasing high-altitude, long-range, remotely piloted aircraft system. Induction of PP tugs will assist naval ships and submarines in berthing, unberthing and manoeuvring in confined waters and harbours. For the Indian Air Force, AON was approved for procurement of automatic takeoff landing recording system, Astra Mark II missiles, full mission simulator and SPICE 1000 long-range guidance kits, etc. Induction of the automatic takeoff landing recording system will fill the gaps as well in the automatic recording of landing specifically. Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Indian Grandmasters of Chess Koneru Hampi and Arjun Erigaisi on winning a bronze medal at the 2025 FIDE Rapid Chess Championship. In a post on X, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said, and I quote him here, "Proud of Arjun Erigaisi for winning the bronze medal in the open section at the FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship in Doha. His grit is noteworthy. Wishing him the very best for his future endeavours. Congratulations to Koneru Hampi, who finished strongly at 2025 FIDE World Rapid Chess Championship in Doha, securing bronze medal in women's section. Her dedication towards the game is commendable. Best wishes for the endeavours ahead." Unquote. Moving on, India made new strides in the field of science and technology in 2025, from advances in space to developing indigenous semiconductor ecosystem to becoming a hub of global investments in emerging tech like AI. The next report takes a look at Indian story in the domain of science and technology. Take a look.
India is fast emerging as a major science and technology hub. It secured 38th position in the Global Innovation Index among the top innovative economies in 2025. Driven by leadership in space, IT, AI and digital capabilities, massive pool of STEM talent, strong policy support and booming startup culture, the year witnessed many milestones in this domain. The year began with a historic achievement by ISRO. Space Docking Experiment or SpaceX mission's docking operation was successfully completed, marking India's entry into the elite group of nations capable of executing space docking operations, a critical capability for future advancements such as satellite servicing, space station operations and interplanetary exploration. Indian Air Force Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla made history as the pilot for Axiom Mission 4, becoming the first Indian to visit the International Space Station. He conducted pioneering experiments in microgravity on subjects such as muscle regeneration, algae, microbial growth, crop viability and others. It is a vital stepping stone towards India's own human spaceflight ambition, including the Gaganyaan and Bharatiya Antariksha Station. First Made in India 32-bit processor chip was presented to Prime Minister Narendra Modi during Semicon India 2025. It marked a milestone in India's semiconductor journey. India is rapidly building its semiconductor ecosystem via India Semiconductor Mission, focusing on design, fabrication and talent, positioning India as a global hub for electronics manufacturing and design. Bengaluru-based QPi AI announced the launch of one of India's most powerful quantum computers, featuring 25 superconducting qubits. It integrates advanced quantum processors, next-generation quantum HPC software platforms, and AI-enhanced quantum solutions. With these milestones, QPi AI is driving deep science and deep tech innovation across life sciences, drug discovery, material sciences, mobility, logistics, sustainability, and climate action. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research developed indigenous technology to produce paracetamol, a widely used pain reliever and fever reducer. This innovation aims to make India self-reliant in paracetamol manufacturing, reducing dependence on imported ingredients, aligning with Prime Minister Modi's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. India has developed its own comprehensive genomic dataset through the Genome India project, sequencing 10,000 whole genomes from diverse populations to create a unique resource for personalized medicine, disease research, and developing India-specific genomic tools. India's strides in AI and emerging tech is making it a hub of global interest and investments. Microsoft announced investment of $17.5 billion in India's cloud and AI infrastructure over about 4 years, describing it as its largest single investment in Asia. Amazon announced new investment of over $35 billion in India by 2030, focusing on AI, boosting exports, expanding logistics, and creating jobs to align with India's digital growth vision. Google will invest $15 billion to build an AI data hub in India. The year 2025 marked many milestones for India in the domain of science and tech. It will be interesting to see how the momentum is taken forward in the new year 2026. Shubhendu Ghosh for DD India.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR and download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Deepika, and from all of us here in New Delhi, thank you so much for watching DD India Live.